Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.co. I'm Brian Beamish, the Rational Investor, coming to you today with our Bitcoin summary for Tuesday. Where are we here? Tuesday, September 2nd, 2014. Happy post-Labor Day. I hope Labor enjoyed their day yesterday. Yeah, actually, lots of fun in the market. I'm all over the place. Crypto or the altcoins are jumping, hopping, and bopping, and we got OTEs all over the place, and this school's rocking and rolling. And I set up a nice little chat service in the crypto live room. So basically, on a daily basis, we're just chit chatting away all day long talking crypto. This is a beautiful project coming into fruition. So I'm really pleased. And on a side note to this, I mean, I don't know what's happening here. Maybe we're gaining some traction, but I see the video that we put up on the YouTube show for Saturday, we're over 500 views. So something's happening here. I'm actually very impressed with what's going on. So to that end, let's go look at the charts, give you a nice little update. You know, these are our YouTube videos, so I don't really want to go too long. I'll just touch on, we'll try and touch on the daily BTCE, and maybe we should take a moment and talk about that, because I wouldn't mind getting the community's feedback with regard to this service. Look at the daily Phoenix. Take a quick boo at the daily Litecoin. And then maybe, you know, we'll maybe take a look quick boo for you guys at the 4 hour and see what we're looking at off a shorter time frame. So without further ado, let's get started. You know, you've probably come quite accustomed to this mess that I love to show you guys on a daily basis. But, you know, and, you know, it's interesting. I'm a big fan of a gentleman by the name of Michael Huddleston, I think his name is. I always mispronounce his name, poor guy. But anyway, he runs this Inner Circle Trader site. Really big fan of him. And I would highly suggest, if you want to learn how the Forex traders, like how fund managers really think in the marketplace, you invest some time in his video series. He's got a video series called the Field Sniper's Guide, and really good stuff. So, you know, it's just go to YouTube, and in fact, you're probably on YouTube watching this video, and search for Inner Circle Trader. Good stuff by Michael. So anyway, not quite sure where I was going with that, but the point here is that I don't know what the point was. Isn't that funny that I mentioned that? I don't know. Anyway, I like Michael. Good stuff. Oh yeah, okay. Now I remembered. And one of his tenets is, and he does it in one of the first Field Sniper Guide videos, is he says, you know, a good technician, you know, just really marks up their chart, right? Yeah, get in there, you know, really dig in and mark it up. And I used to be tentative and really, you know, I want a nice clean chart. I don't want it to be, you know, too overwhelming. And I sort of made a shift probably maybe a year or so ago to, you know, and that's one reason why I really like these TradingView guys, this TradingView.com. There's a nice little plug for you, TradingView. Because you can, you know, have nice marked up charts. I mean, they have a whole bunch of really cool features that I like. You know, you can make custom indicators and such. But what I like is, you know, I basically have my marked up chart and I just load it up in the morning and everything's there ready to go. So way to go, TradingView. Woohoo! Okay, so, you know, we left off last show probably with you guys with this notion that, you know, Bitcoin is basically range bound. It looks to me like the high end of the range is probably about 600 and change, right? And you can see the OTE off of this 309 low is 562, and we have two pretty significant trend lines here. And a good old, yeah, sweet spot 562. So, you know, I mean, I think that pretty much defines the upper end of expectations here in the short term. And the bottom end of the range, and, you know, I've said this before, because BTC broke this 340 low, you know, we have to respect this low, right? You know, and at the very least, let's understand what the trading ranges off of these ranges actually represent, right? And so, I've drawn a fib off of this post-tank low, and it'd be really interesting to see how the fibs play in here. Now, do you notice here that how 38.2s, we have actually two 38.2s. And remember how we talked about how these closes were right near that area, right? I mean, the market did its face plant and then basically came back to finish, and then you see the next day it opened up, played with that area, and then accepted higher. So that clearly to me represents this is a valid level, and that level is drawn off of that 309 low, which tells me that that's probably a valid level. So if we draw the fib going back the other direction, what a coincidence, there's 38.2 right off of here. So we're probably, like we talked about how tails like to be eaten, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of, I hate to say it, but here comes a bomb, some sort of fuck you move, right? That's what we used to call them in crude trading, where they're just going after the weak hands, be some sort of, snap low, right? And if you're a weak hand and you got a weak stop, then boom, you're gone. See you later. And with all this margin trading and crap, and my feeling is the exchanges themselves probably use that information to their benefit. It's understandable, what's going on here. I mean, I don't like it, but I've chosen to report this Bitcoin to you, and so I'm just going to report the facts, right? All right. And it's interesting if we look at this double top high here, right? This red line, top of the OTE zone, right? And this is one reason, like I've told you guys before, I like to do this because I just see this now. If we take, basically off of that high, really, for A, B, C, D purposes, that to me sure looks like an AB, right? And so then if we clone that, this recent market structure top looks very valid to me. So as long as that market structure top is in place, I really have to still keep 250 bucks in mind here, which sucks, but that's the way it goes, right? I mean, that's the trader's life. I suppose we could. I've sort of just tentatively drawn this trend line off of these two lows. That's the 340 low, and then the 309 low, and you can see how this paints down into here. So this is very much part of our reality on BTCE. This is still very much in play, and until we start getting W's, right, and bullish market structure, I mean, we had a little bit of bullish market structure and it ran right into a bad target, right, and just stopped on a dime. And then since then, it's just been nothing but bearish market structure. I mean, the bulls just can't, there is no argument to be made here. This is bearish, right? It's just the way it is. So until we can start getting some W's, and maybe we're starting to, who knows? That's sort of my outlook, and it sucks, right? So we got a downside target here, this sort of 450 area. OTE off of this panic low here is 375. We've got this 340 low, and then, like I said, we've got this bear ABCD. We could see 275 panic, and then really, I think it kind of makes sense, right? We've got this trend line right now working. You can see how it worked off of that top, kind of off of those lows. Real trafficy in here. We came back to it. We rallied away, and then look where we basically stopped our down move yesterday, right? So if we zoom in on this, you can see that that's actually off the double top. There is that trend line that I just mentioned, and you can see how we're sort of flirting with it. So I could very easily see us sort of wonky our way down here. Wonky, 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 wonky kind of thing. And there may be counter trend rallies. I suppose we could do an OTE off of this range, for the members later on. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere up in this area. Maybe we rally back up into there and then come back. And I actually don't want to see that because then you got to really crank back down to the trend line, right? So, but that's definitely, viable. There's no doubt about that. Let's see. Let's get rid of this. Boom, boom, boom. So, sadly, I'm just not too impressed with BTC's action right now. And if we look at the internals, let's see what they have to say. Obviously, this is quite telling. Something just happened there. That's a big sell bar, right? And the sad thing is, and it's really cool for the class people is they just took this part of the course, so they should be able to see this now really easily. But basically, if we look at the red bars, that's sort of what the bears are doing, right? Are they gaining momentum or are they losing momentum? And we can see that, we had a little bit of a peak, then a trough, then a bit higher, then a little bit of a peak, maybe a little toppy, right? And then since about here, which is about middle of August, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, maybe, or maybe, boom, higher high, right? And then this bar is confirmed, right? That was 2 bars ago. That was this big down bar. Um, so from BTCE's perspective, that's pretty darn bearish, right? And the OBV reading, we broke to new lows here, right? Look how we failed at the moving average. I mean, it's beautiful to use this moving average, just incredible. And in fact, I think we sort of talked about that recently. We smacked up against 13 EMA here, right? And look how the 13 EMA just acted as a brick wall, right? And then you get a double top breakdown off of that. Nick, I hope you're paying attention. 50% rules 419.52. So this is something you should show your sister. Go, if I was going to take the trade, there's my double top, right? So that's my risk. And my reward is to the 50% rule. So question is that 2-to-1? Nope. So I don't know whether it really makes a lot of sense to take that trade setup. If you shot for the OTE, which is a bit more aggressive, and that's debatable whether it's going to happen, your target would be down here. So interesting little test we did there, eh, Nick? Okay, let's move on to Phoenix. And I think when we look at these ones, they look a hell of a lot better. So that's sort of Chicken Little Pie, Sky is Falling. Then we'll take a look at Phoenix, and you get quite a different story. And I suppose as a student of the market, I really need to study how both of these scenarios play out going forward to really learn from what the market is trying to tell us, because Phoenix is giving us a very, very different story. It's fascinating. I mean, this is as a true technician talking. What I just said is basically what a technician looks at and says, right? Now, you're going to see Phoenix's story is kind of very different, so we'll see what happens here. Okay, so if we zoom out on Phoenix, and it's sort of the same story as BTCE. Higher time frame, we are in this OTE zone. So on balance, I would actually rather be a buyer than a seller, which really disappoints me about BTCE making new lows like that. And really, if I saw a bottom come in here on Phoenix right at this level, you could look back over time and go, damn, that's textbook. That's absolutely textbook, because you got the tank into the bottom, tested the 78.6 here, right? When we say the 78.6 is sort of your ultimate proxy of whether the bull is still alive if you're looking at an up move. And so we came down and smacked right off it, right? And then we put in this beautiful bottom. My little trade of the year, it sure is looking like that, right? Where you had a nice little 40-45% gain, and to some really respectable upside targets. That's starting to look pretty darn good back in hindsight now. I still think that was the trade of the year. But anyway, so when I look at this, if we do get, a nice sweet W that comes in here, bang, 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 away we go, right off of this big fat trend line here, right, where that was off of this peak and this low. So we know that, and it's interesting, we did this study for you earlier. I remember when we first started drawing this, and I said, these are if you can find trend lines, we're off of a previous peak and a trough, those are super, super powerful. And just zooming out here, I'm not even zooming in, but if we zoom in a little bit, put it to scale, look how significant this trend line has been. I mean, you could actually come up with a trading plan, right, where you just basically say, I'm going to sell standard deviations away from this trading line. Beg your pardon, I'm going to buy standard deviations away from this trend line, and I'm going to sell standard deviations away from it. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I know that there's fund managers that do that. So it's just that's a really good little. Whoops. That's a really good little tool for you guys to put in your toolkit, right? That's so powerful. Anyway. And I don't know how long this video is. You guys might get a real treat here, but what the hell. So off of the daily chart here, here's double bottom. Look at this. It's almost textbook, right? This is just basically off of this high. Look where the silly market rallied back to. It's incredible how this stuff happens time and time again. And then, as we'll look at for the members video, you can imagine where this pullback came back to. Right? Just use your imagination. Hint, hint, hint. So, and also too, off of the daily, there's that huge OTE, right? But here, and I suppose you could argue this is 4 hour, maybe this is daily, and the bigger one is weekly. But look where the market pulled back to on OTE here, right? That's off of this range, 340 up to this 38.2 tag, the 685 high. Look at that, right into that zone, right? And really, that would make sense, right? Because for people who have taken my course, we learned the concept of the institutional order block, right? And I see, basically we just have to ask, where did the market last, where did it stop going down and start going up? And that was clearly right here. So this is the area that let's see if we can highlight that for you. Send it back. There we go. Let's make that red. Does that stand out? Oh, other way. There you go. Hopefully you can see that price bar. Well, what happens if we go blue? Ooh, there we go. All right, so the institutional order block concept, right? This is where the institutions have a vested interest in defending the market, right? What a coincidence, the double bottom originally came right off the top of that level, right? Basically, the market ran up, and then it pulled back, and institutions said, it ain't going down here. We're not showing a negative balance on our sheet. It is not going back down here. And look at this battle, right? They literally stopped the bear in its tracks. And, what was really interesting was this was right into that China ban nonsense, right? So anyway, where were we? Here we are, fast forward to present day, and look how they take the market down into this zone, right? So where did the market stop going down off of this move and start going up? And it looks to me like it might be, off of this bar, and this bar, right? That's where the institutions, basically started to buy, right? And they stopped the bear. And that's what a coincidence. It's the OTE sweet spot right on the nose of this entire range. And look how the market acted when it got into there, right? It would panic down and then spring back. Panic down, spring back. Panic down. Oh, we can't even get down into there now. So, this is why I say that Phoenix is telling you a very different story than BTCE. I mean, they're literally night and day. And the irony of it all is it's supposed to be the same damn asset. So, I'm very much a student of the market here. And as we all are, we're really having to learn the nuances of all this nonsense. I think, and it's really interesting because I'm a fan of a guy named Ray Burchett. You probably heard me talk about him. And I would, do yourself a favor. I'm constantly telling you guys the resources that I've learned all this stuff from. And you're more than welcome to take my program and where I just sort of put all of the resources that I've learned over the years together into one, package for you that's a 12-week program. But you're more than welcome to Google any of these references and you go and look them up because I think they're very, very good references. And Ray is a big fan of this 38.2. And damn, I can see why. I mean, I've become a big fan of 38.2. And really, my hunch is if you want to just play this nice and conservatively and just keep it really, really simple, the premise here is you just got to wait for the 38.2 here to be resolved. If the market can hold on to these lows, right, and and recapture this trend line, very interesting how this trend line is in play here, right? But if we can recapture this trend line, maybe turn down and test it again from the top side, that would be sweet, right? And then turn up through the 38.2. That is your tell that we're starting on a daily basis to turn this bear corner, and that the bulls are trying to retake over. And I would argue that, especially for the YouTube audience, that's really what you ought to wait for. And there's nothing to do here. This is unfortunately, again, when we get to the members video, we'll look at the lower time frames. But, this is really just a lot of chopping here. And because it's making lower highs and lower lows, and we just like BTCE, we have to be cognizant and respect the fact that, hey, we just put in a new bearish market structure, right? That's there, right? So we have to be respectful of what's going on here, and really, I don't think it's in the YouTube and really sort of mom and pop investor kind of idea. People that don't want to be watching the screen 12, 13 hours a day and going nuts at a $5 movement in BTC. Really, I think you're best just to sit and wait for this breakout. And I think it's so textbook, right? So, right now, saying that this is the bottom is, real trader stuff. And, like I said, we'll get to that, in the members video. We'll look at the lower time frames and really examine that, especially considering the overriding message from BTCE. Your caution is definitely the better part of valor here. There's no sense in trying to be a hero here. Why stick your neck out? I mean, your hard-earned money is your hard-earned money, right? I mean, it just seems foolish to basically go in there into a bear market, and that's the sad part about it right now. Bang, 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 bang. We are in a bear, right? And until this changes, i.e., we get some W's, and Lord knows you've heard me say that a couple times here on this video, and that's what this kind of price action represents if it comes in. Let's wait for that, just let it happen, and then we can start getting bullish, right? And here's a kick in the pants. I mean, the really big money to be made on assets, and I've seen this for lots and lots of years, is just to wait for these legitimate, daily and weekly breakouts. I mean, the irony of it all, right, is that, people trading this stuff, right, and they're trying to clip the market. And yeah, maybe you can make money and lose money, but what ends up happening is you end up trading for the damn brokers. They don't respect this monster breakout, right? And, I mean, if you just respected that, basically the weekly breakout here from this level, that was $135. And then, vroom, up it goes. So there's no hurry, and there's lots and lots of money to be made. I mean, if this is a bull, we will see W's come in here, right? And I would say, in fact, you can kind of see it now developing, and I sure hope this is the case, because as it goes for BTCE right now, it is not, and it's rather kind of depressing, to be honest with you, if you're a bull. And, inherently, I think we're all bulls. I would say, when I was a broker, 80 to 90% of all business done was on the long side of the market, right? So bears are not, the majority. They're definitely the minority. Um, and what's interesting, just off of this, weekly breakout here from 135, end result was $1,000. I mean, hopefully, keep our fingers crossed. Maybe that's what we're seeing happen here, right? I mean, that's cute little double bottom within a double bottom, and there's the big weekly breakout, right? Which can start telling us to start looking for these geometric increases again. That's not there right now, and there'll be lots and lots of warning that it'll happen. You just got to be patient. That's all. Just like you have to be patient sitting through these long videos. Okay, we'll finish off today here for your YouTubers, and I think I've been going for about a half an hour. So a nice long video for you guys, so that's cool. Daily LTC, same sort of notion we've been talking about recently. I had a big 200% fib extension target hit here. So not a big surprise. We had a little bit of a dead cat bounce off of that. OTE off of this range is way up here, 788. So I had sort of conjectured recently that if institutions were going to sell, this is probably the area that they're going to do it. And you see these key lows. We've talked about this lots. If the market can get up into these key lows, you know that there's probably open order sitting there. Both people that missed the stop, right? Because look at the market, it just went whoosh down, right? So if they missed their stop and they didn't get filled on their stop, they're just praying that the market will come back there and they can get their stop finally hit and get out where they wanted to get out. But there's probably also new sellers that would be more than happy to strap on a short from these levels. Market's down here and they're like, I don't want to short down here, I want to short here. So the order's just sitting there waiting to go. And I also see too that we have a little bit of a bull ABCD that might take us up into that area. Now the problem in the short term, of course, is that very much like BTCE or BTC, actually all of them, we got bang, 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 fail, right? So we got an M top, market structure top working here, so we have to be cognizant of that. There was a little bear ABCD, looks like that target's been hit. And gee whiz, hello, it's right off of Mr. Mountain Man 61.8. So you can understand that, not only do we have people that are exiting shorts, oops, actually we want that green, don't we? Because that's a buying area. What was I saying? We have people exiting shorts on the bear ABCD target hit. Boom, made money, woohoo, party. But you also have Mr. Mountain Man. He'd be willing to buy this area just blindly looking for a test of the high. And then really, if we talk, and look at this is a really good example. If we talk about institutional order blocks, check this one out, right? Where did the market stop? Where did it go down and stop going down, right? And the bulls said, we're not going down anymore. We're going up, right? Where was that battle fought? Right, so that's the area that they have a vested interest in defending, and we can see that the top of that range is right into this area too. So I can understand why a bottom might come in here over the next few sessions. That really wouldn't be too unrealistic. I'm optimistic about Phoenix. That's great. As it stands right now. I don't really have any higher time frame signals for you guys. We're still very early in this stuff. Really, I think my hunch is if you are long, make sure that you have tight, you have well-defined risk stops going, and respect those stops. If the trade doesn't work, you have to basically admit that, hey, I was wrong and I got to get out. And it's so sad because there was somebody on TradingView here over the past few months that basically was that cliche. And they didn't respect the stops, and they didn't respect their trading plan, and they got wiped out. They literally wiped their account out, which is so sad. So try and read all that. Respect the fact that we're still in this sort of bearish market structure, and let's keep our fingers crossed that Phoenix is more right than BTCE. And it's interesting, look at that. If we draw that same trend line off of BTC's range, look how high it is. It's way up there. So for BTCE to recapture that range, it actually has to go all the way up here. So very different story on these two exchanges. It's quite remarkable. So, and that's that's a good dovetail for you guys, right? We finished with the Litecoin, gave you a pretty good idea where I'm considering maybe we might see a turn here. Just so that you guys know on the YouTube, I'm active in the altcoin space. I'll have a whole bunch of orders working on that, and so I'll talk to that in the members video. But basically, I would like to know what the community's thoughts are regarding this BTCE. The fact that I'm not trading, the BTC market right now because I'm in this BTCE because of the PAM, and is it in the community's best interest? And just give me feedback. I mean, like I said, you guys, there are a hell of a lot of people watching this stuff, so let me know what you guys would appreciate. Would it be better for me to flip over to Phoenix and be a more active trader? And like I said, I might even have a trade set up here and trade off of the lower time frames. And maybe even consider shorting too, because I feel a little more comfortable with that, and exploring the idea of moving to OKCoin, and really, if we can get those 0% commissions, then oh boy, I'm all excited. Or do we just leave well enough alone, and you guys out in the YouTube community? And really, I've made this argument for my school, but I think I'm going to have the school people a little more active, and like I said, we're also doing the altcoins for them. So this PAM really is more for the YouTube community, and what I should be reporting on a daily basis. Wow, that sure was a long-winded way of saying that. It's funny because I'm so long-winded and talking so weirdly about this. Maybe that's karma telling me I should just stop it. But anyway, all right. So I think I'm going to leave the video at that. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. I mean, basically it's free. It's out there for the community. It looks like there's some people get really good value out of this stuff. So, let me know what you're thinking. For the sake of time, I'll cut it off here. I suppose the next one we'll take a look at OKCoin and see what they have to say too. All right. Have yourselves a great day. We'll talk to you soon. All the best.